Hi guys, welcome to my channel. I am Minister LaTasha, just here with some quick encouraging words for you guys on today. I want to come from Genesis chapter 22 verse 2, and it reads, "Then God said, take your son, your only son, whom you love, Isaac, and go to the region of Moriah. Sacrifice him there as a burnt offering on a mountain I will show you." So for those of you guys who know the story, and if you do not know the story, I encourage you to read the story of Abraham. But, God blessed Abraham and Sarah with a son, and Sarah thought it was humorous that at her old age that she would have a son. She laughed when God gave that promise, but God came through and fulfilled the promise, and she had her son Isaac. So just imagine God blessing you with something, and it's a blessing to you. You love it, you cherish it, and then God asks for you to give it back. That is something hard to do. And in order to do something like that, you got to have extreme faith. You have to truly trust God, because you can easily be in your flesh and say, well, God, why would you give me this, and then ask for it back? I don't want to give it back. You promised me this, or blah, blah, whatever. But in order to truly trust God's plan, you have to step out on some major faith. You have to step out of the flesh and go into the spirit, and you have to have that mindset of, okay, God, you gave this to me, and if you're asking for it back, you must have something greater. You must have something better. I know you got a great plan behind this. And I can just imagine the walk that Abraham had with Isaac, walking to that mountain, knowing that he was about to sacrifice his son. I can imagine the thoughts that was going through his head, the heartbreak of me having to do this, but I got to be obedient. I got to make this sacrifice unto God. I can imagine the pain inside, but him still being willing in the pain and the heartache to give up his son, and how God came in and spared him. It was just a test to see, would you do what I asked you to do? If I asked you to release that very thing you cherish so much to me, would you be obedient and pass it over to me? Will you be obedient and take your hands off of it? Will you trust my plan? And because Abraham was obedient, and because Abraham trusts God's plan, even though he may not understood the plan, he trusts the plan, and God had a ram in the bush. So I just want to encourage you guys on today and let you guys know that no matter what your flesh say, or how that devil seem to creep in your mind and make you want to doubt some things, if God asks you to do it, do it, no matter what the sacrifice is, no matter how big of the sacrifice is. When God is bringing you into the unfamiliar, it becomes uncomfortable, and we have to get comfortable in uncomfort, because we have to know that in that uncomfort, God is birthing great things. And so I just wanted to encourage you guys with that on today, and let you guys know that we're getting ready to step into a new season where God is definitely birthing us. We're in the birthing season. He's birthing things out of us, whether it's spiritual gifts, whether it's businesses, ministries, whatever it is that he's about to bring forth. We're about to be in an uncomfortable season. Any woman knows that whenever it's time to get ready to bring forth that child, that labor and delivery is not comfortable. Those contractions is not comfortable. The pain can be unbearable. Sometimes you want to tap out because you are miserable. You just want it to be over. But then when it comes forth, you look into the eyes of that thing God blessed you with. It is a miracle. It is awesome. It is incredible. And that's what God is about to do for us in this season. He wants you to be ready. He wants you to be willing to take your hands off of things he's asked you to take your hands off, and to trust him with it, because he knows best. And sometimes he has to see if he can trust us before he bless us. Why would he give you $1 million if he can't trust you with $100? If you will blow $100, you'll definitely blow $1 million. Why would he trust you with his daughter as your wife, or with his son as your husband, if he can't even trust you with yourself? If you can't even handle self-control and self-discipline, if you're being mean to your neighbors, and you're not loving of your neighbors, and you're not loving of those who he's placed in your care, well, why would he give you something so valuable to him if he can't trust you with that? Why would he give you a mansion if he can't trust you with a shack? See, sometimes God have to see if he can trust you. And that be the test. If I gave you something and I asked for it back, are you willing to give it back to me? Can I trust you to give it back to me? Can I trust you to give it back to me in the condition that I gave it to you in? You know, a lot of times we'll borrow clothes and shoes from somebody, and then when we give it back, it's tore up. You know, it's not clean, it's raggedy. We don't even, people can't even trust us with giving us things and we can't even give it back the way that they gave it to us. So this is definitely a testing season and a birthing season. So can God trust you? Can God trust you enough to bless you with that thing that you're believing him for? Those are some questions that we need to ask ourselves in this season. So before you follow the instructions that I gave on my last video, which was writing the vision, because those that are writing the vision and those that are meditating on it and believing God to do some things in this birthing season, in this last season of the year, where God is going to blow your mind, he's going to move in a steadfast pace on some things. In order for him to do these things for you, he got to be able to trust you. See, it's always work behind that faith. It's always something you got to do. You know, obedience is better than sacrifice. But if God asks you to sacrifice something, then that's being obedient by sacrificing. And see, it's a twist and a turn to it all. But definitely know that whatever God asks you to do in this season, don't sit on it, don't wait, and don't procrastinate. But you need to move, because what you don't want to do is you don't want to miss out on the great things that God got in store for his people. So I just pray that this word encourage you guys on today. I pray that whatever it is that God is asking you to do, that you're being obedient and that you're moving. Whatever it is that you're holding on to, that God has asked you to sacrifice unto him, take your hands off of it. Give it to him. Who better to handle that thing? Who better to take care of that thing? Who better to multiply that thing? Y'all better get in the vein, because God is definitely in the blessing season. He's definitely delivering us from some things. He's definitely birthing some things into our lives. And in order for him to be able to trust us with the things that he is trying to do for us, we got to sacrifice some things. We got to move in obedience, and we got to put the work in behind the faith. If you guys have any prayer requests, I ask that you please send those prayer requests to the email address listed in the description box below. Also, if you would like to sow into the ministry, that information is listed below as well. Make sure to subscribe, like, and share so that this word can reach many, because I'm telling you, this is a now word for many. And as I always say, I want you guys to be blessed and to be a blessing.